April 1945. As the Third Reich crumbled, its leaders surrendered or shot themselves. Behind them were the wives who helped the murder, the ones who laughed while their husbands burned families alive. Now, with defeat closing in, they had nowhere left to run. Their last hours were as brutal as the regime they once served. Their husbands are dead or captured now. What happened next was mass suicide, brutal arrests, and total destruction. But here's what they never tell you about those final days. Late April 1945. Berlin is collapsing. Soviet shells hit every few minutes. Smoke blocks out the sun. No water, no power, no food. Civilians pack into basements. But there's nowhere safe anymore. 30 feet below the Reich Chancellery Garden, the Führerbunker. This underground shelter was where Adolf Hitler and his closest followers had taken refuge. Hitler's in the lower levels, barely sleeping, screaming at generals, getting reports of total defeat. Staff whisper in corners. Every explosion overhead makes them jump. April 29th. Hitler marries Eva Braun down there. Quick ceremony. The wedding was witnessed by a few aides, including Joseph Goebbels and Martin Bormann. That night, Hitler writes his final orders. He blamed Germany's defeat on betrayal by his own officers and said he would not be taken alive. April 30th. Hitler and Eva lock themselves in his private study. She bites a cyanide pill. He puts a gun to his head and shot himself in the right temple. Staff find them minutes later. They wrap the bodies, drag them upstairs, pour gasoline, light them on fire. The Soviets were already just meters away, and the smell of gunpowder was thick in the air. But that's not the worst part. Magda Goebbels is still alive in that bunker. Her 6 children are with her, ages 4 through 12. She's worshipped Hitler for years, completely, and she's decided something. If Hitler's dead, there's no point in living. Not for her, not for Joseph, not even for the children. She keeps them on strict routines, dresses them nice, brushes their hair, acts calm. Bunker staff play with the kids sometimes, but everyone knows what's coming. May 1st evening, Magda and Joseph make the call. They get Hitler's doctor to help, SS Dr. Ludwig Stumpfegger. First, they give each child medicine. Tell them it's to help them sleep through the bombing. The kids trust her. Why wouldn't they? Once they're unconscious, Magda goes to each bed, places a cyanide capsule between their lips, crushes it. One by one, they stop breathing. All 6 dead in their beds. Hours later, Joseph shoots Magda in the garden. Then himself. Their bodies burn next to Hitler's ashes. May 2nd. Soviet flag goes up on the Reichstag. Berlin has fallen, but across Germany, the dying hasn't stopped. In fact, it's just getting started. They weren't innocent. These women stood by the monsters. Some even helped. They raised glasses while children were gassed, smiled while towns were wiped out. If that makes you sick, then hit subscribe. But if you'd rather look away, maybe you were never meant to watch this in the first place. While Berlin burned, panic spread east. Soviet forces pushed deeper. Stories traveled faster than troops. What Red Army soldiers would do to German women. Some true, most exaggerated. Didn't matter. Terror took over. Town of Demmin, early May. The Peene River runs through the center. Cold, deep, fast current. Families start walking toward it. Mothers carrying babies, holding toddlers. They wade in together. Some tie stones to themselves first. Others just keep walking until the water pulls them under. 3 days. Over 900 dead. Mostly women and children. Others don't use the river. Poisoned, hanging, fire. Streets fill with bodies. Homes sit empty, doors open, food still on tables. Soviet soldiers arrived to find a ghost town. But here's what makes it worse. These weren't all terrified civilians. Some were Nazi wives. Women married to SS officers. Women who lived in houses stolen from Jews. Who wore jewelry taken off corpses. Who threw parties while camps operated miles away. Lena Heydrich. Her husband Reinhard helped plan the Holocaust, organized the Wannsee Conference, got assassinated in Prague in 1942. After his death, she lived well. government pension, nice house, political connections. May 1945 changes everything. She's terrified. Czech resistance already going after collaborators. Soviets moving in, so she starts burning papers, letters, files about her husband's SS work. Mountains of evidence go up in smoke. Then she grabs her kids and runs north to Fehmarn Island, goes into hiding. Decades later, she gives interviews, defends everything, calls her husband a good man just following orders, never apologizes once, dies in 1985, still believing she did nothing wrong. Kiel, May 3rd. Admiral von Friedeberg surrenders what's left of the German Navy to the British. Official ceremony. His wife hears the news. Kills herself that same day. No note. British officers confirm it. She just couldn't handle that their world ended. 3 weeks later, Friedeberg kills himself too when he learns he'll face war crimes charges. American soldiers arrest Margaret Speer in Stendal. Her husband Albert ran armaments for Hitler. The Americans don't hurt her, but they separate her from her kids immediately. Search her house. Question her for days. What did you see? What did you know? She stays mostly quiet, doesn't kill herself. But her life is destroyed from that moment. Similar scenes everywhere. Demmin, Neustrelitz, parts of Berlin, thousands of civilians killing themselves. In Demmin alone, about 900 deaths in just days. For Nazi officer wives, suicide wasn't just escape, it was loyalty. Some felt they'd failed Hitler. Others supported Nazi ideas so strongly that Allied rule seemed worse than death. In some cases, wives begged husbands to kill them. In others, they acted alone. Whole families died together. By early May, Germany is full of mass graves. Not from bombing, not from combat, from suicide. Each grave tells a story. Guilt, fear, or blind loyalty to a government that already collapsed. But the Allies are coming now, and they're hunting. May 8, 1945. Germany surrenders. War's over in Europe. But justice is just starting. Allied powers launch massive searches. Former Nazi officials, SS members, their families. Many top Nazis are dead or hiding, but their wives are still around, living in remote homes, castles, mountain villages. Investigators believe these women know things. Some were deep in Nazi society. Others suspected of helping husbands, hiding documents, profiting from stolen property. Late May, US troops find Ilse Hess in Bavaria, arrest her. Her husband, Rudolf, was Hitler's deputy before flying to Scotland in 1941 trying to make peace. Failed. Spent the war as a British prisoner. But Ilse stayed in Germany. Kept going to Nazi meetings, supported Nazi causes, wrote to Rudolf constantly. Allied officers know she never stopped believing. After release, she's banned from everything. Can't own land, can't publish, can't speak publicly. Her kids get watched. June 1945. Allied soldiers capture Emmy Goering at Fischhorn Castle in Austria. Hermann Goering's wife lived like royalty during the war. Finest clothes, ceremonies next to Hitler, mansions full of expensive art. After her arrest, Hermann surrenders, gets sent to Nuremberg for trial. Emmy goes to a detention center. Separated from her daughter for months. Everything seized, jewels, paintings, furs, gone, released in 1948. No longer elegant, just part of a terrible regime. Lives quietly in Munich under government watch. Dies 1973. No funeral, nobody cares. They arrest Elsa von Greifenberg too. Her husband, SS General Karl Wolff, worked under Himmler, managed Hitler SS communications. Early 1945, Wolff secretly contacted Americans in Switzerland, helped arrange German surrender in northern Italy. Operation Sunrise, one of the first secret Nazi-Allied deals. Allies think Elsa knows details. June arrest, taken to a camp near Munich. She claims she knew nothing about politics, just ran the household. Documents prove otherwise. She went to SS events, was friends with other Nazi wives, lived off SS benefits, not charged, but loses everything. Property seized, stays out of public view after Wolff's prison release in the early 1950s, dies early 1970s, forgotten, Summer 1945. Allied camps overflow with these women, wives, sisters, daughters of Nazi leaders, from all over Germany and Austria, questioned for days. What did you see? What did you know? Did you help hide anyone? Americans set up camps in Augsburg, Regensburg, Bad Nauheim. French use Metz and Strasbourg. British take Lower Saxony sites. Conditions are harsh. Plain clothes, basic food, military rules. Some kept alone, others with strangers. Can't contact family. Most enjoyed Nazi power benefits. Lived in houses stolen from Jews. Had servants who were prisoners. Went to concerts while war destroyed Europe. Now it's gone. All of it. Even released ones face brutal restrictions. Can't vote. Can't teach. Can't work for government. Can't own land. Can't leave their district without permission. Names on blacklists. Friends abandon them. Neighbors watch constantly. But for wives captured by Soviets, it gets much worse. The Red Army suffered catastrophic losses during the German invasion. When they reach Berlin and Nazi territories, soldiers are filled with rage. They see these women as symbols of everything the Nazis did to their country. Hedwig Rosenberg, wife of Alfred Rosenberg, the Nazi Party's chief ideologist, lived in Königsberg when the Soviets arrived, captured May 1945, transported east to Soviet prison. Her husband's already in American custody, but Soviets still want to break her. Freezing cell, no medical care, barely any food, kept under watch for over 2 years, released 1947, but she has no hope. Soviets took Königsberg, renamed it Kaliningrad. All across Soviet zones, women connected to Nazi leadership face public violence. Wives, office workers, relatives of SS officers pulled from homes, marched through streets. Regular people who lost everything in the war participate. Some women stripped, hair shaved in front of crowds, others beaten, kicked, spit on before being handed to Soviet guards. Not official military orders, but allowed to happen everywhere. No sympathy, no rights. Many never appear in official records. And while all this happens, the world watches Nuremberg. During the Nuremberg trials, courtrooms show concentration camp images, hours of testimony about mass killings. Just outside, in nearby guarded buildings, their wives live through different judgment. Emmy Goering stays in a guarded house near the trial. American guards watch her constantly. She asks again and again to visit Hermann. Never allowed. Sometimes she walks near the courthouse trying to get close. Dark clothes, big sunglasses, avoiding reporters. She writes letters to Hermann, most blocked or never delivered. October 1st, 1946. Hermann gets death sentence. Emmy isn't told directly, only learns after he swallows cyanide in his cell October 15th, night before his execution. Margaret Himmler held nearby, questioned multiple times. Though Heinrich already killed himself in May 1945, Allies still think she's important. Even as SS crime evidence gets shown in court, she keeps saying Heinrich was a good man. Says she knew nothing about camps or executions. Investigators don't believe it, given her SS family ties and wartime benefits. Released early 1946. But threats from civilians and anti-Nazi groups force her to change her name. Stay out of public, she avoids interviews. Rarely speaks publicly. Neighbors rarely see her. Never admits knowing about Heinrich's crimes. Dies 1967. No obituary, no official record. Margarete Speer gets slightly different treatment. Her husband Albert admits partial guilt, accepts moral responsibility for forced labor in weapons factories. Gets 20 years in Spandau prison. Margarete allowed one brief visit. Short, formal. Can't bring kids, can't talk politics. She goes home to raise children alone, dealing with constant shame of being married to Hitler's close advisor. Authorities watch her for years, lives with limited money. After Albert's 1966 release, she supports his return to society. He writes books, but she stays out of spotlight, avoids public events. Never speaks to media, dies 1987. Remembered only by close family. But for the ones who survive, the real punishment is just beginning. After Nuremberg ends in 1946, Nazi leader wives face harsh reality. Germany split, cities destroyed, life hard for everyone. For women tied to Nazi elite, much worse. Neighbors reject them, jobs denied, treated with suspicion everywhere. Lena Heydrich buys a farmhouse on Fehmarn Island, opens small guest house for money. Locals know who she is, many avoid her. Her kids get teased at school. She keeps defending her husband, says he just followed orders, stayed loyal to Germany. 1950s, gives interviews trying to fix his image. Says he wasn't responsible for the Holocaust. Even though he organized the Wannsee conference, more interviews in the 60s and 70s, never shows regret. Dies 1985. Still saying she did nothing wrong. Emmy Goering returns to Munich. No money, no home, few friends. Allies took everything. Art, jewelry, estates. Tries to publish her story early 1950s. Most publishers say no, known as the Nazi actress. Shame follows her everywhere. Lives simply in small apartment. Rarely goes out. Never gives full interviews. Dies June 8, 1973. No public funeral. Ilse Hess reacts differently. Stays loyal to Rudolf's memory. Becomes active in far-right groups. Early 1950s writes for nationalist magazines. Defends Hitler. Says Rudolf tried to make peace with Britain. Demands his release from Spandau prison. Banned from political events but keeps fighting. Until death in 1995. Other wives face similar struggles. Poverty, rejection, suspicion. Some change names, some move to rural areas. None return to public life. Their children choose different paths. Many change surnames, move to other countries, United States, Canada, South America, escaping the past. Few write memoirs, most stay silent. Nazi legacy marked families forever. Many cut all ties. By century's end, nearly all Nazi leadership wives are dead. Deaths go unnoticed. No monuments, no honors, no sympathy. Their lives started with power and privilege, ended in silence, shame, or refusal to face truth. For Germany, they're part of a chapter people wanted closed forever. They chose loyalty over innocent lives, took their children into death with them. If you've watched this far, you carry this memory now. Don't let their crimes dissolve into silence like they did. Subscribe or let their ghosts vanish again. Which side are you on?